Picture this. It's the early 1970s. Britain is in the midst of political scandal, sex farces are dominating the box office, and then along comes Don't Just Lie There, Say Something, a cheeky, satirical comedy that takes a swing at political corruption, sexual shenanigans, and good old-fashioned British hypocrisy. It's packed with innuendos, slamming doors, and frantic misunderstandings. If you love classic British farces, this one's got all the right ingredients. An MP with a wandering eye, a scheming civil servant, mistaken identities, and, of course, a steady stream of double entendres. This 1974 film, based on the successful stage play by Michael Pertwee, was directed by Bob Kellett, a man with a knack for British comedy, particularly in the bawdy slapstick vein. It stars Leslie Phillips, an actor practically synonymous with farce, playing Sir William Mannering Brown, a Conservative MP with a rather inconvenient passion for women. His wife, played by the brilliant Joan Sims, best known for her many appearances in the Carry On films, is blissfully unaware of his extracurricular activities, at least for a while. But in classic farcical fashion, things spiral hilariously out of control when his plans for a bit of extracurricular romance collide head-on with a moral crusade against permissiveness. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Whitehall farce, it's a genre of stage and screen comedy built around mistaken identities, ludicrous situations, and plenty of running in and out of doors. Phillips built a career out of playing hapless men caught in compromising situations, and in Don't Just Lie There, Say Something, he's right at home. His performance as Sir William is a masterclass in comic timing. He's flustered, panicked, and always about one step away from complete disaster. Then there's Brian Rix. He plays Barry Ovis, the scheming civil servant whose own agenda threatens to send everything into chaos. Between him and Phillips, the film is a non-stop parade of mix-ups, misunderstandings, and increasingly desperate attempts to keep up appearances. And let's not forget Joan Sims, who brings her signature mix of warmth and exasperation to the role of Sir William's wife, delving into the comedy with impeccable timing and a sharp wit. The plot itself is a classic farce setup. Sir William is spearheading a campaign for public decency, but his own private life is anything but decent. He's having an affair, and his attempts to keep it under wraps become increasingly ridiculous. Just as he's trying to enjoy a tryst, he's faced with an unexpected visit from his wife, a nosy housekeeper, a political opponent, and, of course, a journalist sniffing around for scandal. The more he lies, the worse it gets. Hence, the title. It's all about watching him squirm, and let's be honest, that's where the fun is. Visually, the film sticks to the tried and tested formula of stage adaptations. It's mostly set in a handful of key locations, with much of the action taking place in the MP's home. But what it lacks in cinematic spectacle, it makes up for with razor-sharp dialogue and well-orchestrated physical comedy. Doors open and shut at just the right moments. Characters pop up when you least expect them, and the tension builds beautifully as lies pile on top of lies. When it was released, Don't Just Lie There, Say Something landed right in the middle of Britain's obsession with sex comedies. The Carry On series was still going strong, and films like No Sex Please, We're British were raking in the box office cash. But where Carry On was all about exaggerated silliness, this film leaned more into the world of theatrical farce, cleverer, quicker, and with a sharper satirical bite. Critics were mixed, as they often were with this kind of comedy. Some found it dated, others appreciated its rapid-fire wit, but audiences, they loved it. It's the kind of film that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's cheeky, it's light-hearted, and it plays on the very British tradition of laughing at authority figures behaving badly. And let's be real, watching politicians squirm in their own scandals never really goes out of style, does it? Looking back, Don't Just Lie There, Say Something is a fascinating time capsule of 1970s Britain. The attitudes, the fashion, the jokes, some of it feels quaint, some of it still lands perfectly. It's a reminder of a time when British comedy was dominated by stage veterans who knew exactly how to work an audience, and when farce was king. If you're a fan of classic British humour, it's definitely worth a watch. And if nothing else, you'll get to hear Leslie Phillips delivering lines with that legendary voice, which is always a win. So, if you're in the mood for some fast-paced, slightly naughty, very British comedy, give Don't Just Lie There, Say Something a shot. Just don't expect too much political correctness. It was the 70s after all. And if you enjoyed this look back at a forgotten gem of British comedy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into classic films. Got a favourite British comedy that deserves a revisit? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your recommendations. Until next time, keep laughing, keep watching, and maybe just don't lie there. Say something.
How could you? Well, there's a perfectly simple explanation.